Merry Christmas to all you folks out there that gave me a minute today. So I hope you're having a good time. Let's just go over some awful news. Well, actually good news if you want to figure some stuff out that the Biden administration is up to. So let's get into this. So, of course, it was discovered that there was a back channel created by a liberal activist and close advisor to FTX's Sam Bankman Fried. His name was Sean McElwee. He was the founder of the Abolish ICE movement in 2018. Remember that? Yeah, he also founded Data for Progress, a progressive think tank. This guy also opened a Slack channel that allowed him to communicate with the Biden White House as well as FTX. Let's get into it. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Slack, for those that don't know it, is an app that teams use to communicate with each other. For example, at RPW Media, we use Slack so that all the writers can talk to each other. They can call stories that they want to write so that they don't overwrite each other, things like that. Well, gamers use Slack. Anybody that has a team of people, you can use Slack. And all the news companies out there, the news networks, they use it as well. So what happened was we know that the Biden administration sent billions of dollars, our tax dollars, to Ukraine. And we know that Ukraine, in turn, invested with FTX, and that FTX became the second leading donor to the Democratic Party in the 2022 midterm elections. Maybe they were actually the largest contributor, and they're actually laundering money to pay off Democratic and Rhino members of Congress, because there were people that were bought off. We're going to find that out if they allow us to find that out. But we already know that there was something involved with the SEC, because there was no way that FTX and Alameda Research, Bankman Fried's firm, how they could do certain things in the speed of time they had it without having favors pushed for them. So we'll get into that in a later video. I touched on it some on older videos, but someone should check to see if Adam Kinzinger received money as well, because we know that Kevin McCarthy did, and he used that money to go against Trump candidates, MAGA candidates in the 2022 midterms. And he's probably going to be Speaker of the House. We have no proof that other Democrat and Rhino members got money, but we're just speculating that it may have happened, especially since Democrats were singing the blues about not having enough money, but they finished up spending untold millions just before the election. The leftist rag, the Washington Post, reported on March 3rd that Ukraine got into dealing crypto. They said the Ukrainian government has gathered more than $42 million in crypto donations since Saturday, plus digital artwork, including a limited edition worth roughly $200,000, according to blockchain analyst firm Elliptic. The challenge is how the country cashes in on those assets to fund its war needs. Now, amid Russian invasion of Ukraine, the CEO of FTX, Bankman Fried, went forward to help the crypto donation project. He humbly announced that FTX will be supporting the Ukrainian Ministry of Finance and other communities in collecting crypto donations for the country. Now, the Ukrainian government has received over $60 million in crypto donations from all over the world. And FTX's Sam Bankman Fried, he highlighted that the war in Ukraine has been dragging on. The country is in full need of humanitarian help and access to global financial infrastructure, yada, yada, yada. So he also called attention to sanctions and crypto during this kind of situation. He indicated that crypto exchanges should enforce sanctions announced by the government and take them seriously. Now we've learned that FTX and the Biden White House participated in a back channel communications that was closed the day after FTX went bankrupt. Now, isn't that interesting? FTX goes bankrupt and the Slack channel was shut down the day after. Come on. This all came from a report from, believe it or not, the far left Politico. They reported on Thursday that Democratic operative and close advisor to Bankman Fried named Sean McElwee had a direct back channel set up with the White House. Now, can you imagine this? Politico says McElwee is a well-known progressive activist who started the Abolish ICE movement in 2018, founded Data for Progress, a progressive think tank, with an emphasis on influencing public policy through polling. So he was a pollster, okay? So DFP quickly embedded itself into top layers of Democratic firmament. Okay, so more recently, McElwee became a close political ally and advisor to FTX founder Sam Bankman Fried. They were connected through this guy, David Shore, who's a political consultant who's known for analyzing political polls, according to a friend of both men. Okay, so McElwee had easy access to the White House and the press, and he made sure that they had access to him. He kept an open Slack channel at DFP that became a rolling conversation between McElwee, Biden administration officials, and some well-known reporters, a kind of journo list for the 2020s. Can you believe this? On November 12th, the day after FTX filed bankruptcy and Bankman Fried resigned as CEO, McElwee abruptly shuttered his Slack channel. 6 days later, he and Data for Progress started negotiating his exit from the firm that he built up. So there you have it. The Biden administration was in direct contact with FTX and other political operatives. God only knows the conversations that went on in that app. So now the government is trying to take down FTX because they don't want to get caught. The government now is the Democrats, okay? Not until January. They're fully owned by the Democrats in D.C. So they had a back-channel communication with FTX. Are you kidding me? Right? So a lot of people, the misinformation fake news media and the supposed fact checkers, which are really just failed members of the misinformation fake news media, they already came out and said, oh, there was no connection between the White House and this cryptocurrency or Ukraine. Yeah, there was. And it's coming out drip, 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 all right, which is what the media always does to try to kill a story. But it's coming out now that there were back-channel communications. Remember when they made up the stuff about Trump having back-channel communications at Trump Tower? His server was communicating with Alpha Bank, the Russian bank. Right? Remember we found out that Michael Sussman and others, he got others to make that stuff up, they hacked into the servers and threw data in the logs that weren't really there. Remember that? Well, this is real. Okay, apparently there was a Slack channel open. And the Biden administration had some officials that were actually talking to officials from FTX. What do you think they were talking about, pray tell? Were they talking about how they were going to funnel money in the name of our tax dollar donations to Ukraine? And then FTX funneled their money to Ukraine in an altruistic manner. And then they somehow magically, I guess maybe through Slack channels, they got the Ukrainian government to invest in FTX, okay? And then that money came back, all right, and was funneled to fund all the Democrat Party campaigns in the 2022 midterm elections. Now, isn't that sweet? See, when you have a corrupt party and a corrupt government, you could do things like this, and the Praetorian Guard fake news media is going to cover for you. Well, that's it. Thanks a lot for spending this moment with us on Christmas Day. We hope you had a wonderful Christmas, and we'll see you in the next one.
Shitty train, I got no sun, there's only rain, I wanna crash and numb this pain. Nothing will last inside this lane. Oh, take me far away.